America's pastime has been a part of the Vegas community for over 40 years. And as our city grew, so did the love of the game. Now, excitement is growing for our next home team. All season long, Fox 5 and the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network are covering athletics baseball on the field, in our community, as we build our future together. America's pastime will soon call the Valley home. Play ball, Las Vegas. This is Covering the Bases with the A's.
What's up, baseball fans? Welcome to a brand new show, the first of its kind, the first ever Vegas show devoted strictly to athletics baseball. This is Covering the Bases. I'm Mike Davis. Let's take a look at the batting order for today's show. So here's the breakdown. Shea Langeliers goes off, a historic game for the catcher who cracks 3 homers. And the Big Amish rookie Nick Kurtz continues his hot streak, taking the league by storm. Plus, Brent Rooker receives a special honor, and the A's acquire the MLB Pipeline's third-ranked prospect in the Mason Miller trade. But we start with Shea Langeliers.
There's the 1-2 now, the Langeliers in the air towards right center field, going back, and Shea Langeliers with a leadoff home run. Shea Langeliers, he is now 2 for 2. So Shea, here's the payoff pitch. And the left field, this one is going to stay fair and gone. Helping him out a bunch tonight. This one in the air from Shea to center field, going back is Jacob Young, and another a 3-homer game for Shea Langeliers. Swing from Shea, it's on the ground and it's a fair ball. Shea will add another hit. It's not a homer, but how about an extra base hit?
He was feeling it. Look at that. Shea Langeliers making A's and MLB history on Tuesday, crushing 3 home runs in the nation's capital. With 5 hits, 4 extra base hits, 3 home runs, and a leadoff home run, Langeliers becomes the first catcher ever to record all 4 of those statistics in their career. That's why they call him Shea Langeliers. And it wasn't just about the homers, of course, for the 27-year-old catcher. Shea finished the night with 5 hits, a career first for him. Another mark for Shea. His home run total for the season now sits at 22, making him only the 2nd A's catcher all time to have 3 or more plus seasons with 20-plus home runs. Just the 4th catcher in MLB history to have a pair of 3 home run games in their career. Here's manager Mark Kotze on Shea's big night.
Yeah, that was a great night, for Shea. I mean, he's been swinging the bat really well. That was the majority of the reason to put him up there. But for us to get off to the start we did tonight, obviously it really helped Sevy. And from an offensive standpoint, that's probably the best game that we've had collectively throughout the lineup.
Since All-Star break, Shea has been on a serious hot streak. He's tallied up 10 homers and a .435 batting average in the 17 games since the Midsummer Classic. And with the win Tuesday night, the A's have won 8 of their last 11. Now, not too long ago, another A's rookie was the center of attention. Shortstop Jacob Wilson was the favorite for the American League's Rookie of the Year award. Now, the focus has shifted to first baseman Nick Kurtz. Just a few days ago, the Big Amish was named American League Player and Rookie of the Month. Here's manager Mark Kotze again.
I don't know if it's describable. Like you said, the 10th rookie to also win Player of the Month, to do both, it's pretty amazing. I think I saw the list. I mean, you've got Trout on there, you've got Pujols on there. I think Pujols might have done it twice. There's still 2 months for Nick. Maybe he can match Pujols, right?
To be in the conversation with Pujols and Trout, that's big stuff. Now, in the month of July, Kurtz hit .395, knocked 11 homers, and notched 34 hits. It's a well-deserved recognition for the big man. Now, coming in a month where he already made history, becoming the first rookie ever to hit 4 home runs in a single game. Now let's talk about some heart and hustle. Brent Rooker followed up his heroics in the All-Star game and the Home Run Derby with the milestone of hitting his 100th career home run. Well, now he's got a new accolade to celebrate. 2025 Heart and Hustle Award winner. The Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association named Rooker this year's recipient for the A's. This year marks 20 years of the award. Now it's described as an award for players who, quote, exemplify a true passion for the game and who best embody the values, spirit, and tradition of the game. Good stuff there for Rookman.
Yeah, I think that describes him pretty well. He's definitely the heartbeat. He's out there every day, in the lineup every day. He's probably played more outfield this year. I don't know the exact stats, but than I think we anticipated. And just in all facets, I think you see him becoming that quiet leader with this club, and so the award's definitely fitting for him.
Now a trade to talk about. A's GM David Forst made waves on the MLB trade deadline day, dealing star reliever and closer Mason Miller to the Padres. In return, the A's got 4 prospects, including Leo De Vries, the number 3 ranked prospect in all of baseball. Now Forst threw in veteran lefty pitcher J.P. Sears, but the overall sentiment surrounding the league is that Forst and the A's fleeced Padres GM A.J. Preller. Many in the media saying the chatter amongst the league executives is that the Padres should have gotten a bigger return for the 18-year-old Dominican shortstop who is a superstar in the making. De Vries is already making plays at the plate and at short in the A's organization. In his first 4 games with the High A Lansing Lugnuts, De Vries is batting .333. We're going to talk a little bit more about De Vries and that trade later on. But now, on deck, we got some expert insight for you. That's because we're going inside the clubhouse with A's insider Jessica Kleinschmidt to talk more about the trade and Nick Kurtz. And after a trip to the farm, voice of the Aviators, Matt Neverett, provides further insight and some perspective on A's new top prospect, Leo De Vries.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
All right, we're here with Jess Kleinschmidt, A's insider. Jess, great to be with you. Let's start with this. Obviously, big news. Mason Miller gets traded. He was basically the face of the franchise for a long time, and now he gets traded for a top 5 consensus prospect in Leo De Vries. Tell us a little bit, how shocked were you about this trade? And it seems like the baseball community is really raving about what GM David Forst did about this trade. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. I was shocked for the first 5 seconds just because I've been covering Mason and J.P. Sears for years. But when you take a step back and you see what he was traded for, it's a nod to Mason Miller. And of course, A.J. Preller is always the guy that's going to make a move, especially at the deadline, and especially for a team that is hoping to not only dominate the NL West, but go for a World Series, let's be honest. So to get Leo De Vries was awesome. And even David Forst himself said, I knew people wanted Mason Miller. However, we didn't know how serious the Padres wanted Mason until they offered Leo De Vries. And Mason himself said he was very honored to be traded for not only Leo, but those other prospects as well. And let's be honest, around the 21 game mark where the guys only won 1 game out of those 21 games, that's where things shifted. I talked to you guys before. So going into the season, there was expectations around that time. We knew that it wasn't going to be a buying scenario. So the Padres definitely put their money where their mouth is. And Preller, you can't sleep on him, and they want it badly. It's a tough division. And over the last few seasons, the Padres have come up short. But once the shock wore off, it's kind of one of those things where Mason deserves it, and so does JP.
Lastly, we can't go an interview without talking about Nick Kurtz. Just got AL Rookie of the Month, AL Player of the Month. This kid is just on a hot streak. Tell us, obviously well-deserved. What is he starting? Is he changing a little bit with all of this notoriety? What are the consistencies and the changes that you're observing ever since he's become the talk of the league?
I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people have asked that. He's still Nick Kurtz to me. And I even made the joke in the dugout. He was signing autographs and had this swarm of fans around him. And I look over, I say, that's just Nick to me. But that's what's beautiful about it is he's not letting it go to his head. Yes, he's way more, noticeable. And a lot of girls in the crowd are proposing to him. It's kind of fun. And just to know that he's taking it all in stride. You mentioned, the great July. He had probably one of the best single game performances of all time in the game, that people that were actually shocked that not only he hit those 4 homers, but all those hits. And he was super laid back and cool about him. We talked about him after he got the player of the week, and it's a 395. That's what he's batting in July, 11 homers, and I think a 953 slugging, which that means he's had one of the best, some of those best numbers heading in to just the second half alone. And it was kind of great to see him not only get good with the power, but the consistency was there. We saw some amazing defense from him as well, to know that he's going to be able to build off of that. The sky's the limit for this guy.
It's amazing stuff. All right, she's the best. It's Jess Kleinschmidt, A's Insider. Thanks so much for joining us, Jess.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's take a trip to the farm and talk some more about the Mason Miller trade that netted the A's the number 3 overall prospect in all of baseball. 18-year-old Dominican shortstop Leo De Vries is a superstar in the making. A switch hitter who before the deal was rocking a 767 OPS. He now gives the A's bright future a whole new meaning. For more insight on the trade and the future impact of top prospect Leo De Vries, I spoke with the voice of the Aviators, Matt Nevry.
This kid is still just 18 years old, but flashes tremendous upside. He's a switch hitter. He plays a fantastic defensive shortstop. And it's also pretty rare that you see a guy go from the number 1 prospect in one organization, get moved to a different team, and immediately slide into the top spot in their top 30 as well, like De Vries did, coming from the San Diego organization over to the A's. Now, he started in Lansing with a flourish, a fantastic defensive play in his first game as a lug nut. He is hitting over 350 in his first handful of games at the advanced A level. I would not be surprised to see him get bumped up to Double-A Midland at some point this year. I would put the ETA for Las Vegas at some point late next year. There's a good chance that if the A's continue to be aggressive with this kid, that they're going to be able to see him in 2027 for his major league debut possibly.
On the field.
All right, Leo De Vries was signed by the San Diego Padres in 2024 as the top player on the international market. He represented the Padres at this year's All-Star Futures game before being traded to the A's. And on an interesting note, De Vries is also a former basketball point guard, and you can definitely see that in the way he moves on the field. He's the hottest player in baseball, the talk of the town, and now he's going one-on-one with our very own Kevin Bollinger. After the break, the exclusive interview with the big Amish, Nick Kurtz.
Connie Mack was the only manager the Athletics had for the first 50 years they existed as a franchise, but since then, the longest tenure for a manager has been 11 years in this franchise. But which of these guys did that? Was it Billy Martin, Tony La Russa, Art Howe, or Bob Melvin? We're going to find out after a quick break.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
Okay, we're back, and we're going to tell you which of these managers lasted 11 years with the Athletics. The answer is Bob Melvin. La Russa lasted 9 years. Art Howe was 7. Billy Martin barely. But it was Melvin who lasted the longest out of Mack, outside of Mack, and for good reason too. Melvin's teams made the playoffs 6 times with some of the lowest payrolls in baseball. The A's started the 1930s on an absolute tear. There's no other way to say it. And in 1932, they were looking to keep that streak going. But if you're caught up on history, you'll know the early 30s were kind of a tough time in America, and the A's were not exempt from money struggles. Jamie Foxx put together one of the greatest seasons of all time in 1932, hitting 58 home runs, 12th all time in a single season, and knocking in 169 runs, 8th all time, and he did it with a .364 batting average. Despite that, the A's fell short of a 4th straight pennant, finishing 2nd to the Yankees, but they had bigger problems than that. Team owner and manager Connie Mack, who had no income outside of baseball, was not able to pay his superstars what they deserved, since attendance was going down with the ongoing Great Depression. Mac tried to get more people into the stadium by blocking the view of rooftop fans across the street from Shibe Park, building what became known as the Spite Fence, and it backfired, alienating some of their biggest supporters. Over the next few years, the A's collection of future Hall of Famers were all sold off or traded, with Fox and Lefty Grove going to the Red Sox, Al Simmons to the White Sox, and Mickey Cochran to the Tigers. After 1933, the A's wouldn't have another winning season for 14 years, but even then, with the Phillies winning the 1950 National League pennant, the A's were suddenly the second most popular team in a dilapidated stadium with an 87-year-old manager. The legendary Connie Mack hung it up after that 1950 season, but the team's fortunes didn't change much, with Mack's sons being forced to look into selling. In 1954, they found a bidder, Arnold Johnson, who had plans to get the scrappy Athletics out of Philadelphia and into a stadium he owned out west, further west than any other major league team at the time. Now, if you're watching this, you know the A's didn't stay in Philly forever, and this was the end of their time in the city of brotherly love. Next week, we're going to find out where they moved and how long they lasted there before they packed up again.
It's not often that a baseball player rises to stardom as fast as Nick Kurtz. A's fans already knew him as a cornerstone of the future. Baseball fans took notice as Kurtz started hitting bombs in June, but the world was introduced to Kurtz in a big way on a July night in Houston.
Swing and a drive, deep to left. He's done it 4 times.
4 home runs in one game. It's only been done 20 times in Major League Baseball history, and Nick Kurtz became the first rookie to ever do it. The A's rookie first baseman is on a tear, leading all of baseball in numerous offensive categories for the month of July and skyrocketing himself into the conversation for Rookie of the Year. He told us that his comfort level at the plate is increasing.
For anyone, as the longer you do something, the more and more you get comfortable each and every day. So, definitely come up here was a little bit different. I had to make some adjustments, kind of figure it out. And then I was getting towards, I would never say you figure it out in baseball because, as soon as you think you do, the game will show you why you haven't yet. But I was getting closer, and that's kind of the biggest thing, is getting closer every day.
Kurtz came to the big leagues with the right mindset and approach, and his at-bats have been more impressive as he's logged more games. There's a respect for Major League pitching, and Kurtz says he just has to outwork everybody.
These are the best pitchers in the world. These are the best guys in the world, so they do a good job finding your weakness, and they attack it. So, game planning and, finding a way to defend what they're going to do and find a way to be successful is what it's all about. So yeah, it's definitely been different. It's not an easy game, so just find a way to be up there and be successful is different.
It goes without saying Kurtz has found a way, just like he's done at every level. The A's picked Kurtz 4th overall in last year's draft. He was expected to start the season in Double-A and then go to Las Vegas to play for the Aviators and maybe get a late season call-up when the roster's expanded. But Kurtz had an incredible spring, started in Las Vegas, and then destroyed Pacific Coast League pitching, leaving the A's no choice but to call him up on April 21st.
Nick Kurtz hits this one towards left center, and how about a big fly for the first time in the big leagues?
It didn't take long for the 6'5", 240-pound slugger to start making an impact, and Kurtz quickly claimed his spot at first base. But Kurtz has taken all of the accolades and attention in stride. The humble home run hitter is a team-first guy.
We're in it together every single day. Win or lose, the big losing stretch, it was hard. You had to find a way to enjoy the little things coming to the field and fight like hell to find a way to win a ball game. So let's hopefully we don't go through that again, and just hopefully we keep on winning from here.
Kurtz knows he'll be returning to Las Vegas, but it likely won't be until 2028 when the A's move into their new home. And he hopes to do it with the rest of the A's young infield, a core for the future that represents defense, power, hitting for average, and above all else, team.
We've all kind of gone through the same things. We have a lot of the similarities in what our career has led to. So seeing those guys and seeing that, this could be the infield for a long time, was really cool.
As for the bat Kurtz used in the 4-home run game, the Hall of Fame called and they asked for it. They said that Kurtz could wait until the bat broke if he wanted to keep using it, but Kurtz decided to send it to Cooperstown, where it's going to be part of baseball immortality. Kurtz is keeping a memento for himself. The jersey and batting gloves that he used that night will never be worn again, and Kurtz is going to have them framed to put up in his house.
Coming up, there's still more covering the bases ahead. Next, we're previewing the upcoming series with the Baltimore Orioles.
You're watching Covering the Bases with the A's.
This is a great day for Las Vegas.
Las Vegas has proven itself to be a great sports town and a great host to professional franchises.
It's an epic moment for our 124-year-old franchise. 2028, we have opening day out here on the Las Vegas Strip. 3, 2, 1.
A's fans get priority access to purchase season tickets in Las Vegas for just $19.01. Now, current A's season ticket members, Aviators season ticket holders, as well as Clark County residents who secure their spot on the priority access list will receive purchase priority ahead of the general fan. For more, visit athletics.com/Vegas. After wrapping up a 3-game series with the Nationals, the A's will continue their East Coast trip and face the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore is currently sitting at last place in the AL East, 15.5 games out of first. Now, it's tough to imagine for a strong roster that only a year ago clinched the wild card and 2 years ago clinched the best record in the league with 101 wins. Still, this is a good young roster filled with talent, from shortstop Gunnar Henderson to 2 former #1 overall draft picks in Adley Rutschman and Jackson Holliday. Now, the last time the A's took on the O's was back in June. The A's won that series, taking 2 out of 3. Now, that's a wrap on this edition of Covering the Bases with the A's. For the rest of the team here, I'm Mike Davis. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back next week. Until then, be good and go A's.